Hey, it's Sterling K. Brown from the Hulu original series Paradise. The next chapter begins as Xavier's search for his wife takes him above ground, and what he finds will change everything. It was never just about the bunker. Tune in and discover the truth lies outside. Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming, and stream Paradise Season 2 on February 23rd on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
I'm Andrea, founder of a boutique handbag brand, Andy, and this is why I switched to Shopify. I tried 3 other platforms prior to Shopify, and I remember my breaking point was when I would try to make one little change and my entire site would go down. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running. I was able to migrate my products and all of my customer information over.
Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/listen. Go to shopify.com/listen to take your business to the next level today.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for May 5th through 9th, 2025. Amanda gets to share the only pipeline this week because she found it.
Oh, I don't like that it's the only one and that it's sad. Still, so I just happened to see it on Facebook that one of the other General Hospital Facebook pages had posted, but Denise Alexander passed away at the age of 85, but it's saying that she passed away back in March, on March 5th, and I had not seen anything about this until now.
Well, no, I mean, even I checked the official General Hospital page and they only just released something this morning or last night.
Yeah,
but I've been noticing, and I don't think it's just soaps, but yeah, 15 hours ago. So they just announced it. It's Saturday morning, so it was Friday night. I don't know. We noticed that when they didn't announce, and it wasn't publicly released, that like the actress who portrayed Alice passed away. But I've noticed that a lot lately with just in general celebrities. I feel like, I mean, some are right away,
Right.
Like Leslie Charleston, we knew within probably hours, but I don't know because it doesn't say why, right? Like it doesn't give a reason. I mean, she was 85.
Right. I know. I don't see.
But it doesn't say anything like.
No, the Yahoo Entertainment is just talking about her career. It doesn't say anything about a cause of death.
But did you mention who she was on the show?
Oh, I'm sorry. Laura's mom.
Leslie Weber. Yes.
Yeah, I just assumed that yeah.
Oh, Laura was just talking about her too.
Yes.
So we had mentioned when they started talking about, when they did the Monica's wing dedication, sorry, not declaration, when Laura said something, and I think we both had the thought like, oh, I wonder if Leslie's going to be there, because she said something about, I can't remember what it was that Monica said, but I mean, maybe I don't remember us talking about it, but I know I think you might have, I don't remember if we talked about this, like, would Leslie come for Monica's funeral?
Right.
Kind of the same way that Lucy and Bobby was Leslie and Monica, except for Leslie and Monica's was a lot more dangerous. We never had the opportunity to interview her, but we actually do know that she listened to our show because we did a 411 all about Leslie. And I forget if it was 1 or 2 episodes, but that's how we became friends with our buddy Steve Silverman, who is the host of A World Gone Good podcast. And he was friends with, and he reached out to us to let us know that he had listened to it. And then I can't remember if it was right away he had shared with us that he had her listen to it, but I know she responded like, I really did all that.
Right, exactly. Even just in the write-up, it mentions, she was one of the first female doctors on daytime TV.
Oh, wow. Like in general.
Mm-hmm.
In general, on General Hospital.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, that's really a bummer. We haven't seen her in a while. It's been a few years. We're really not doing, I know we've talked about this, but we're really not doing a good job with replacing these people. I was thinking about it in the shower earlier. We don't really have any legacy people that are going to be Carly is a legacy character. And yes, Laura Wright is who most people think of when it comes to Carly, but she's the fourth. She didn't,
Right.
she made this Carly, but there's been other significant Carlys, even because really it's Lucky and Liz are the only long teenagers, and lucky we've had recast stuff. So we literally just have Liz.
Yep. Liz has been holding up the whole show for us as far as hopefully being there from start to finish.
And we almost lost her once, but there was such public outcry that they kept her. But I mean, we almost had it with Sam, Lucky we have had recasts, but now we're back to Jonathan. So it's almost like we can kind of ignore the other ones. By the way, this week's 411 is Lucky and Liz part 24, Lucky part 32. We're still on Greg Vaughn Lucky, but, I feel like we're at the point in the life of Lucky. I don't think that they're going to recast again. I could be wrong, but I feel like bringing him back this way and everything and what they're doing with Lucky and Liz, I feel like if it's not going to be Jonathan Jackson, it's not going to be anyone.
Right.
Jason. So Jason's been around since Jason was a teenager, and it's been Steve Burton. With the quick, Billy Miller was Jason until we found out that he's actually Drew and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Blah.
I was going to say, you don't have to count him as Jason because he wasn't Jason, he was Drew.
Exactly. So, and so Kirsten Storms has been Maxie, but since she was a teenager, yes. But before that, we had Robin. I'm so sorry, Robin, I forget your last name. I don't think you listen to our show, but still going to apologize that I forgot your name because she had been Maxie for a pretty long time. So it's kind of like, yeah, we can count Maxie, but really it's Liz. That's it. That's really the only one that we have that's had that we can look at that's going to be a legacy character, one that's been on for 40 something years. So, oh my gosh, she is going to be on for 40 years pretty soon.
Liz?
I think she just had 30, but still it means that.
Exactly. You just aged us by like 15, 20 years. Stop it.
But so like Anna Devane just celebrated 40 or 45, 40. Because she came in 1985. Liz is going to be younger than Anna Devane when she hits 40 is where I was going with that. So, I mean, Laura technically is a recast also.
Right. But Anna, using that as the ideal, then Anna would be one also because we didn't have a different Anna when Anna came on.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like they're already legacy. So like Anna's already legacy. Lucy's already legacy. Like they're already. I'm looking at it as like the older ones that have the longest, the ones who have been on for most of our lives.
Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong in how I'm determining legacy, but that's what I think of. Like when I think legacy character right now, that's why like Liz isn't yet, but I mean, okay, I guess she is, but she's not.
We just don't want to call her that because she's the same age as us.
Right. Do you know where I'm going with it though? Like it's, yes, she's been on for a very, very long time. I don't know. I guess there might have to be like a natural age that you are. But then would we consider Edward a legacy character because there were multiple Edwards? So
that's what I was going to say. There's a difference between legacy character and legacy actor or actress.
Yeah. And then there's the whole thing, which is like Bobby, Scott, Luke.
Right.
I'm going with Laura because I don't think that other actress really had a lot. I feel like it was a quick, right?
Yeah. I wasn't the other Laura on only for like a year or two and then she quit or they recast her.
74 to 76.
Okay. See, I thought it was 2 years.
But was she a child or was she a teenager? Because we don't count when they saw us.
Right.
All right. We're not going to get into all of that, but this is where my head was going is that, well, because even Monica's not the original, or Leslie Charleston's not the original Monica, but right. Yeah. I don't know. I know what I'm thinking in my head. It's, I think you kind of understand too. If you've been listening to our show for a long time, you probably can follow Shannonisms. If not, sorry.
I think it's just that we don't want to get old and we don't like that our favorite characters, like we want them to be legacy, but we don't want to admit that they're old enough to start thinking about legacy.
Yes. Perhaps when they become grandparents on the show is when we start to, of grandparent age.
There you go.
Trying to think. Anyway, we don't need to have these qualifications. I think we know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think that's our only Port Charles pipeline. And I've already said what we're talking about on Thursdays, 411. Oh, and that's something that Steve mentioned, is that he'd be happy to talk with us and share some stories about his friend, Denise.
Aww.
Well, no, I feel bad. We kind of got off topic with her, but yeah, this is going to be a hard year this has been a hard couple years for GH.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to work this in. Like, we haven't even killed off Monica yet.
Right. Maybe they'll have Leslie and Monica be in a fight and they'll have both fallen off a cliff. And then it's so very 70s Monica and Leslie. I am 100% joking.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Okay. That is not how I want either of them to go. Rachel Ames is 95.
That's
going to happen soon.
That's what I was just looking up, was to see how old she is. That's so funny. I'm like literally on her page and was like, oh, 95. That means no.
Right. So yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
But all that to say, we need to quit killing people off. We need some longevity, because this is why people stay lifelong fans. You know, how many people came back to the show because of Jonathan Jackson? How many people are like super excited because of the show again, because of Jonathan Jackson, other than us?
It's definitely more than us.
It definitely is. Yes, I agree. But, you know, and unfortunately, how many people left because of Sam?
Right.
You know, it's both sides. So we need to quit killing people.
Yeah.
Man, we could have an entire discussion just on this. Okay. But we're not going to, because we're going to talk about this week's shows.
I was going to say, let's get to the Hulu headlines before we go off on another tangent.
On Monday, Nina's plan goes awry. Dante is livid. Cody stumbles upon a dangerous situation. Carly counsels Lulu. Jocelyn feels guilty. On Tuesday, Lois pleads with Dante. Rocco issues an apology. Alexis is in the hot seat. Drew gets key intel. Christina opens up to Lucky. On Wednesday, Christina offers an olive branch. Lulu is grateful. Brook Lynn is baffled. Gio opens up to Emma. Brennan briefs Joss and Vaughn. I would trade Brennan to have some people back.
Absolutely.
On Thursday, Jason gives some tough love. Dante opens up to Sonny. Brad makes a life-changing decision. Portia fishes for info from Willow. That was a lot of F's. Curtis and Nina commiserate. And then on Friday, Sasha and Willow have a tense encounter. Lulu questions Ned. Brook Lynn and Chase meet with Alexis. Tracy is surprised, and Sidwell makes an offer. So I'm going to say where we start this week, suggest where we start this week, because last week we did not talk at all about Christina, Molly, and Alexis.
Right.
Or Lucas and Marco. But this is what happens when you give us 1 5-minute scene of Alexis opening up the dagger and nothing else. Well, I guess Molly and Christina approached her about the...
Yeah, we talked about that for a minute, but we didn't talk about the dagger.
No. So, well, no, I don't... Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did.
I think when I was listening to the show last week, I was like, oh, shoot, we didn't talk about them at all.
No, we definitely mentioned them teaming up to see Alexis and being like all angry with her.
Okay.
I think we talked about it earlier in the show when on the show it was more of like a Friday cliffhanger, and I think somehow it was in it earlier.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I actually don't know.
Or maybe it was the week before.
Last week. It was the week before when we talked about the cliffhanger. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, yeah, they didn't really go anywhere with it until this week.
Right. But yeah, okay. Sidwell sent Alexis the dagger, and Molly and Christina are teaming up against Alexis because Molly told Christina about the court order to have Christina committed, and neither of them are happy about it. Christina's like, if you have something to say, you can say it in front of my sister. And Alexis is like, no, not going to do that.
Nope.
And then Alexis tells Diane, which still baffles me. Sorry. Okay. Let's say Diane did just happen to scoop up papers that day. You were telling me that woman does not look through her files before the end of the business day?
Right.
To make sure she has processed everything that's in her briefcase that she has on her to-do list? I don't know. I feel like Diane and I might be organized the same way, in that, like, there's no files in my briefcase that I'm not currently working on that I don't check on. You know?
Right.
And especially after you drop them all over the place, you're not going to make sure, are they at least in the right order?
Yeah, something. She would have something.
Yeah. So But instead, Alexis has to tell her, well, I guess you and Molly switched papers. And she's like, oh my gosh, I did. I'm so sorry. This is my fault.
Right. She said it like, yes, it was an apology, but it was kind of like, oh, well, like, oh, yeah, my phone bill accidentally got put in with your stuff. I'll take that back and pay it. Sorry.
I forgot to get you a lemon for your iced tea. My bad.
Right.
No.
This was huge.
Just a bit. But yeah. And then Sidwell came and talked to Alexis about the dagger. And that just kind of seemed to go nowhere too.
Exactly. I was going to say, I'm still so confused on what he's trying to accomplish. Because when we first saw him give the dagger to her a few weeks ago, and then she handed it back, I remember the way he like put it back in the box. It seemed like he wanted her fingerprints on the dagger, which made me think he was going to use it to kill someone and then try to blame her. But then he gives it back to her. Well, of course it's going to have her fingerprints on it then, because she's going to pick it up out of the box and whatever. And now she has possession of it. So what? Like, it didn't look like it had a trace of blood on it or anything like that he had used it for something and then was giving it back. So why did he want her to touch it to begin with, and why did he now give it back?
I don't know.
When she very clearly said, I don't want this. Don't give it to me.
I don't know. I really don't. Oh, he went to talk about Marco and just his work and everything like that.
Oh, he said he wanted papers drawn up because he's trying to buy Sonny's piers. And so he was like, I'm going to purchase a large real estate, blah, blah, blah. I need you to write up some stuff. And it was, Sonny didn't even say he would sell to you yet. So I don't know why you're having papers drawn up yet, but okay.
I guess we could just talk about that too real quick, because that really wasn't tied into anything beforehand. Sidwell and Jordan met with Sonny at the end of the week and propositioned him to just privately sell the piers. Okay. Oh, I guess we did have to talk about other stuff during the week, because Jordan, Tracy, Drew, and Sidwell all talked. Because
Marco was there too at first, I thought.
Who else was? I'm sorry.
Marco.
Hold on.
It was like a revolving table, because at first it was Sidwell, Marco, Tracy, and
Jordan. They were all having breakfast.
Yes. Yep. And then like Curtis showed up in there and Drew showed up in there. It was just like everyone join us.
Well, Curtis went and met with Tracy and was like, I saw you sitting over there. Why are you trying to take down Laura too?
Yes.
But yeah, it really was a revolving table. It was, I don't know.
It's another thing that doesn't make any sense. Why is Sidwell sitting there with them saying, oh yeah, we need to take we need those docs so that we can go ahead with the project. And then he's turning around going to Sonny and being like, oh, let me buy those from you, when you know that they're just going to get taken over anyway. Like,
well, right. Like Sonny's not going to find out. And the thing is, they had the meeting at the Metro Court. So we failed to mention that one. I think we failed to mention the Metro Court, but that's where they were. They were in a public place. It's not like they were meeting in the back room of somebody's office.
Right.
And no one knows that it's not like they were meeting on the pier, having this discussion, this private discussion where all the secrets are revealed.
No, they were in a very, very public place. But okay, so I don't know, because I don't know anything about real estate, anything, but if Port Charles needs to say that they need the property and they're taking it, don't they have to compensate Sonny in some way? Don't they have to at least pay him like market value or something? I can't just show up at your house tomorrow and be like, oh, we decided that we need your house, so the town's going to take your house and not give you anything for it, right?
So I can speak to yes and no. There was JD's family owned part of the property that Kennywood sits on.
Okay.
Where the exterminator is, that was his dad's aunt's land. And they kind of waited out until she died.
Okay.
And then I believe they didn't necessarily pay fair market value to the heirs. I could be wrong about this, but I just remember that was the big thing, is that, because then I think that there was also a gas company that was going after. They had a lot of property. They used to have a restaurant where the McDonald's is now, right outside of Kennywood. They had a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So they owned like a lot of property over there. And so maybe they sold to Kennywood and then it was the gas company that was waiting them out. I really can't remember. Well, and he's not even home. But
I just feel like, I mean, you hear about it a lot with road development. Like if they're,
Right.
extending a turnpike or parkway or whatever, sorry, we need to make these lanes bigger, so we have to take this amount of property. And
that just
there's
happened here a couple of
right,
years ago where they,
right. There's no way around it.
They even bought people out because where the turnpike was is where the Plum Swim Club was. They even bought people out of their memberships to the swim club. So yeah, like
right. So that's my only. I mean, I wasn't a member of the swim club, but I remember that being like a thing of they needed that land, and you can't really fight it because they can show just causes why they need it, but they don't just get to take it like, oh, that's ours now. They have to pay something. So yeah, I really hope that Sonny goes down the rabbit hole to figure out what Sidwell is after, because why would you buy something off of me if, although you're going to be able to sell it in 2 weeks, you're going to take a huge loss on it? You wouldn't. So what's really going on here?
The thing I'm not entirely sure of, that I've never had experience with, thankfully, is if he's doing illegal activity, could that remove?
But he's not doing illegal activity. It's the coffee house.
That they can prove. Right.
It's
the warehouse.
Exactly. It's coffee.
But you're telling me after 30-something years, they're finally going to be able to prove that Sonny's doing something illegal on the docks?
Right. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't understand how anyone's going to be more in favor of Sidwell having the property than Sonny.
Mm-mm. And he can't even justify what he's using them for. Like, obviously, the rare mineral that Deception needs to buy from him isn't on those piers. It's not like that's his company to be running anything out of there. He has no legitimate need for them, so it would be even more questionable.
Unless he somehow says something about he's going to be able to be bringing in all these rare, unique, highly desirable products for Port Charles to use as, like, Deception's using in their cream, But I mean, is the manufacturing plant also in Port Charles?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't understand. And for a second, I thought Sidwell was legit concerned when Sonny's heart started to have an issue. And then I was like, wait, dude, you know he just had surgery. So
right. Yeah, I really, it's fun to try to figure out what the story is with characters, but Sidwell has me so confused. I have no idea what he's doing, why he's doing it, who all is involved. Like, none of it makes any sense to me. He has people from all over the place that I'm like, I don't get why you're sitting down with Tracy, but then you're against Laura, and then you're trying to buy stuff from Sonny, and you have Alexis's dagger. I don't get it.
Right. It's, what is his tie?
Right. I'm intrigued to continue finding out, but every week I feel like I just end up more confused because he pulls somebody else in, and I'm like, what? Why are you talking to them?
Well, we have so many little spider webs going on, and how are they connected?
Yeah.
Because there has to be one central thread, and I don't feel like it's Sonny, though.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
Maybe really don't. Just really after Drew.
I mean, I would be okay with that because I hate Drew even more this week than last week, which I didn't think was possible. But I don't know why. I hope that it does go back like into something deep though, from when Drew was a Navy SEAL. Like, I would like some good backstory.
Maybe he had to do something.
Yeah. I like when they give us good backstory. That would be good. Yeah. But as it stands now, I just don't understand.
No. Well, and the other thing we didn't talk about last week was Lucas and Marco sharing their dad's stories. And Lucas shared about Julian. So he's like, yeah, so guy I told you about, Tony, was a doctor, was amazing. However, he was not biologically my father.
Right.
And he shared all about Julian. And I feel like that was helpful to Marco, I guess, in some way. And they just had like a little bit of flirtiness this week, but they didn't really do anything, right? So why do you hate Drew so much this week?
First of all, when was the last time that you went to the doctor and they gave you an unmarked vial of something to take home?
Yeah. Not in a package, not in a sealed box with its needle and syringe that are also separately sealed.
Just a vial.
that you can just
no
put in your pocket.
markings.
That's just like in a little change purse or a little change envelope.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I'm not a nurse, but if tomorrow I came over and you were like, oh, hold on, and you pulled out an unmarked vial like that and tried to add it to a drink or inject yourself, I would be like, what are you doing? Where did you get that? Blah, blah, blah. So your nurse girlfriend pulls it out of your jacket and it's just like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense that your doctor sent you home with this. Absolutely.
Well, also, and it hurt her?
Right.
She hugged him and was like, ow.
Yeah, she leaned into him. Oh my gosh, it's ow.
She's the princess in the pea. Do kids even know that story anymore?
They have to. Stop. That's like a classic. If they have any of the golden books or whatever, that goes through it.
But yeah.
Yeah, it just, the whole thing was ridiculous. I guess we can backtrack a little bit. Like the week kind of opens up with the scandal about that she came home, she saw him with the hooker, she didn't know it was a hooker, blah, 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 blah. He went and got the blood test done. Yeah, it was the ketamine that we talked about last week. But then this week he makes a formal statement to everyone about how he was drugged and he's never for once in his life done any drugs. And he has the blood test to prove it. And here by his side and is this beautiful photo op of him and Willow.
Right.
And everyone that knows Willow rolls their eyes and is like, why? Why is she doing this? What is wrong with her? I can't believe she's sticking by him. No more questions asked, but okay.
I kind of can, just because of how stupid they were with drugging him with ketamine.
Right.
You know, they didn't just get him drunk like we talked about, you know, have him ingest something a little bit more believable. You know, it's they messed up. Portia and Nina messed up. Well, Portia messed up. Yeah. So I understand why Willow believes him. I mean, to be fair, it's true. But like why she actually does believe him, because this is not anything she's ever seen, you know, and he has the blood work and all that stuff. And we found out that Portia got his records only so that she made sure to get the right dose, not to pepper it in throughout his history.
Right. No, Portia definitely did it all stupid. We talked about that in detail last week. But I still think that I would question it a little bit more. Like I am not saying I would divorce him over it, or I know I'm not married, but move out.
She's still married to Michael.
Or whatever. She is still married to Michael. I wouldn't end the whole relationship over it, but I would have a few more questions. The next day, I wouldn't be splashed all over TV holding his hand like, oh yes, absolutely. I believe everything he says because I don't know.
Well, and the only memory he is getting back is of Tracy.
Right. And we saw the way he kept looking at Tracy weird all week anytime that he saw her, because that was the memory. And I think he was trying, before he found out from Brad that it was Portia, he was trying to pin it on Tracy. And I don't think he's even sure like if Tracy was in on it also, because he thinks that that the drink was given to him by Tracy with the ketamine already in it.
I just feel like they should have chosen something completely different, some completely different way. There's so many different ways to make someone make a fool of themselves in public.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I don't think that he's suspicious of Tracy anymore because Brad went ahead and told him.
For $500,000.
That is Drew's favorite number. That's what he offered Cody.
So do you think what was in the vial that Willow saw was actually more ketamine or a different drug? Because what did Brad do for the extra $500,000? Remember, he was like, $500,000, tell me who did it. And he said it was Portia. And then he was like, Brad was going on about, aren't you going to destroy Portia's life? Oh, this is going to be great because she's been such a jerk, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And he was like, I just need you to do one more thing for me and then I'll double it and make it $1 million. And I thought whenever he was doing the press conference, when Drew was doing the press conference, and he was like, and I have someone by my side, I thought that was going to be Brad. And Brad was going to step forward and be like, I know for a fact he was drugged. It was Portia, blah, blah, blah. But instead, no, it was Willow. And so I didn't see anything else that he did, but he obviously got his $1 million because he gave his resignation and was like telling everybody he's leaving town.
Yeah. I Googled. I don't see that was it.
I would hope not.
I know. I mean, we let Brad just leave town a lot. Let's just let him leave town.
Right. He can leave town. He can't be gone forever. We need a reason for him to come back. Maybe something bad will happen.
I don't think he's going to be gone because of this, because he's going to come forward and say, because, yes. I mean, Lucas turned his head.
Yeah, but some shady stuff has to go on with Lucas and Marco, and then Brad can come back around. So it's not goodbye forever for Brad. No way.
No.
But
Liz turned her head too.
Yeah. I liked that Brad said, I'm making changes, and Lucas was all about his fancy suit, and Liz was like, what else are you changing though besides your clothes?
Right.
Make better choices. But yeah, I can't think of anything else that he did, and I can't think of how else he would be able to get whatever was in that vial. Like, again, that obviously was not a vial that your doctor gave you, which is why I didn't understand how Willow just continued on with, oh yeah, whatever he tells me, it's the truth 100%. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, he says he doesn't know how to inject himself with drugs, yet here he is going to go ahead and inject himself with this vial.
With vitamins. It's just vitamins.
Right. And he did not, I just want to say, he did not say he didn't know how to shoot up.
No.
But that's what I'm saying is when he was saying,
right, I've never done drugs. I never did anything with that, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Again, she's a nurse. I'm sure that there is a drug somewhere that I have no knowledge of that you can inject, and it helps with recovery and puts the vitamins back in your system, blah, blah, blah. But I would assume that for a one-time drug dose, that if you needed something, it would just be a simple IV with some like saline and vitamins to flush it out of your system and to rejuvenate you. Like,
it'd be a couple hours. It'd be like, my daughter got those iron infusions last year. We were there for 5 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
But you don't even necessarily have to do those types of things. Understand that his doctor would probably prescribe that if you had, concerns. But you don't even have to go to the hospital for those. Like, there's like pop-up stores where you can go and get a infusion of this, and this that's supposed to make you feel better and do this and whatever.
The B12 infusions are huge, right? Isn't that the fad is the B12?
Maybe. I don't know. I know that Megan had talked about getting them because she was feeling so crummy from all of her different issues. So, they're expensive, but you don't even have to go through, like, it's cheaper to go through your doctor, but you don't even have to go through your doctor anymore. So you're going to tell me none of that was an option. Instead, he has something he's going to inject himself with. That doesn't, Willow just doesn't question it. Okay.
Right. And wouldn't you think it was more of a press-worthy thing if he had that documentary crew, which we can go to Kyle later, but had someone following him around on, and here's how, if you are drugged,
right,
this is what they have to do to you,
or pull his doctor into the conference, into the conference of like, hey, and not only can I tell you that I didn't take this, but my doctor knows my history so well and believes in me enough that here's Dr. Smith, and he's told me I need to have infusions for the next 3 weeks to get my body back up to where it was. And have Dr. Smith be like, yeah, I endorse these infusions. But like anything. It made no sense. And again, I do obviously know that he was drugged. I do believe that that's not generally his character because we've never seen him use drugs before. But as the woman who came home and found some other woman in your bedroom looking like she just climbed out of your bed, I have more questions before I'm standing next to you in a public press release.
Right. No, I get it. But I guess we're going to have to see because I don't know. The whole thing is just so weird.
It is. And then I also don't know, back to like Willow. So then we see Sasha coming in for her checkup, and Willow comes in and is like, I just have to get your vitals and stuff. Then the doctor will be in. And good for Sasha standing up for herself and was like, actually, I would like any nurse but you. Like, no, I don't want you taking my vitals. And Willow says, I have Michael's kids, you're having Jason's kids, so we're family. We need to put this stuff behind us, blah, blah, blah. And Sasha is like, you're trying to cut people out. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Willow says, I went to see him in Germany and he would not see me. How did Drew not think that that was going to get back to Michael?
To Jason.
Well, I mean, to Michael through Jason.
Oh, yeah. Because he doesn't think about that because he's the smartest person in the room. And
how is that going to get blamed away? That it was some misunderstanding. She flew all the way to Germany and the staff there misunderstood who she was asking to see? Like, I don't understand.
Right. I don't know. But the whole thing, first of all, like you said, good for Sasha. Willow shouldn't have argued with her.
Right.
That's so unprofessional. And you don't have to. I mean, we both have exes that, the kids have cousins. I can't tell you the last time that I saw my ex's sisters. Well, one of them I can. And his brother, no idea. But I don't think his brother has kids. But Willow's not living at the Quartermains anymore. She's barely letting them even see the kids. So no, you're not going to be around.
Right.
Willow is trying to not be around.
Exactly. You're not living in the Quartermain house anymore. You're not really even bringing the kids over that often. Like, no, we're not going to be hanging out together.
Right.
And our kids aren't even the same age. Like, it would be different if you were like, right. Oh, what's a coincidence? Like, you just had a baby and my baby will be here in 3 months. Like, sure, we're going to celebrate milestones together because the fathers are super close. But right. Amelia is already like, what, 2 or 3 by the time that Sasha has her baby? Like, come on.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
And there's more than one nanny.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure Jason is not going to ask Sasha to have the same nanny as Willow. I don't know. I just think it's weird. But this is also going to bring up, because Sasha went and told Jason, and he didn't know yet that she didn't see Michael.
Right, because Sasha's like, she went to Germany, and he's like, I know, I told her. I wanted them to have a conversation and work it all out, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, he refused to see her.
Right. I feel like that's something that Willow would have, I guess she came back to finding Drew in her bed, or
no.
So that kind of
I mean, Drew,
focus,
yes,
but took the focus off of.
Yeah.
So never mind. Ooh, I'm surprised that she's not blaming Jason because, well, Jason told me to go out of town, and sure enough, as soon as I come back, you're in bed with somebody else. Maybe it's Jason's.
I think she knows Jason well enough to know that he wouldn't play with drugs, especially not over Drew. Like, he doesn't have time for that.
That's true. Okay.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't like Drew. I'm just over all of that. And I didn't like that all week long they were focusing on Danny getting drunk and the alcohol poisoning and all that stuff. And they were blaming everyone but Danny.
Meanwhile, hold it, but Danny blamed Danny.
Yes.
And Danny told everybody, blame Danny.
Yep, exactly. He's like, can you guys all stop yelling at other people and look at me? I mean, it's not like there was an extreme age difference between the boys, so he was trying to do it to be cool. It's not like, they
were both being stupid teenagers.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, I agree. Like, you go out with your friends. Even now, if we went out drinking somewhere, we're going to show up together. We're going to leave together. We're going to whatever. I'm going to be responsible for you. But yeah, I feel like I should be able to go play a volleyball game and come back. And I'm not responsible if you decided to get blackout drunk while I was playing the volleyball game.
Well, especially if in this situation, Rocco was so, I really don't want to be here. I'm just going to hang out. I'm not going to drink. He told Danny he was not going to drink.
Right.
So how was Danny supposed to think, you know what, he's going to start drinking?
Right, and not only
he told him to just hold the cup.
Yeah, exactly. And not only is he going to actually drink, they said because he was playing a drinking game that he drank a ridiculous amount of alcohol in a very short amount of time. So even if I thought that you were going to go ahead and have your cup of punch that you got and ask for a refill, maybe even, I would have no reason to think that you're doing 20 shots in an hour and a half or whatever while I'm playing a volleyball game. Like,
right. And for Dante to go off on Gio like that,
Exactly.
I do understand where he's coming from, where he has, like, when he said, do you know how many parents I have had to call because their kids have been brought in with these stats?
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally got the fear, totally understood. He sees bad things that normal professions don't see every day. So his brain would go to worst case. And they were telling him, he was just a few under what could have been fatal, or at least put him in a coma, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like Gio is growing up in that household like those boys are his younger siblings or whatever. And that's what you do. I mean, my one daughter is old enough to drink. My other one is not. No one's, handing her alcohol. But if she got super drunk, I absolutely know that Emily would be like, here, have some coffee, sit up, blah, blah, blah. It would not cross her mind, oh, this is alcohol poisoning. I need to get you to the doctor. It would be, let me sober you up before mom and dad see and kill us.
Right. Well, and the other thing Dante did was the way that he's talking about Gio and how he was raised and how everyone always looks the other way. Gio doesn't have a bad background.
Right,
so
exactly.
What is he referring to, that Gio's always gotten his own way or whatever? And it's like, what has he done? And who was it? I think it was actually Lulu.
Yes.
Said, oh, you mean they protected him after both of his parents died? Or because she said something about, oh yeah, because he was raised by his mom, who was like a world-renowned artist. Oh wait, that's right.
Right, exactly. And then
him to a point, but after that, it was
right. She passed away when he was still young, and even after that, then what was he doing with his spare time that was so bad? Practicing the violin? Like, give me a break. You haven't heard any stories of him underage drinking or doing drugs or trying to work for Uncle Sonny or any of that stuff. Like, yeah, so we haven't heard that Gio did anything wrong. Not even the typical teenage stuff of like, oh, he failed a class, or he let his grades slip or whatever, or he broke curfew because he was hanging out with some girl or something like that. I mean, we haven't heard anything negative, and you're going to sit here and say, oh, they always let him off the hook?
Right.
I don't get it.
But remember last week, and I think that we did work it out because we talked about that it was Danny that was vaping, that Jake caught him.
I'm Andrea, founder of a boutique handbag brand, Andy, and this is why I switched to Shopify. I tried 3 other platforms prior to Shopify, and I remember my breaking point was when I would try to make one little change and my entire site would go down. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running. I was able to migrate my products and all of my customer information over.
Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/listen. Go to shopify.com/listen to take your business to the next level today.
Because remember how we said we got caught up in who was being a bad influence. And I think you thought that it was Jake. And then I think that we both said, like, we got there, that it was not, Jake wasn't doing the bad things. It was Danny was doing the bad things before.
Yes.
Okay. I remember that we worked that all out. Anyway, we got an email. We got an email.
Oh, okay.
From Louise. Hola, my lovelies. Danny was drinking. Among the other trouble he was getting into, lashing out about missing his dad. I forgot that they found Danny drinking in the park.
Yes.
I forgot about, or that he came home drunk or something. I totally forgot about that.
I did also.
Danny brought up this week.
Yep.
Also, his brother Jake caught Danny vaping, and they got into the big fight because Jake refused to give it back. That's the one that you and I were talking about. Which one was the one vaping?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Rocco hasn't messed with any of that until now. He seemed not just uncomfortable, but like there's something else bothering him. I'm really happy they're keeping the boys and everyone else referring to Danny and Rocco as brothers. I just hope nothing happens where the parents start seeing Danny as a bad influence and try to keep them apart. I don't think the boys are going to bend that easily. You can tell they really love and trust each other. And then earlier in the day, actually, I think it was the same day, she wrote to us also, the only thing I'm praying for is Lucky singing subject is nurse's ball. The only thing I'm praying for is Lucky singing absolutely anything. I love Unchained Melody, but I'd take anything from him. I watch the video of Jonathan Jackson singing at the Grand Ole Opry a lot. Mm. It is just one of those, he makes me tear up. It's absolutely beautiful. Have you ever watched that? Did I send that to you?
I have not watched that, no. But his voice is just beautiful. I can only imagine.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're not going to.
Yeah, we're not going there now.
Okay, do yourself a favor, because even if we just played it on here, it's not going to do it justice, because you have to watch him too.
Okay.
So just go on YouTube, Jonathan Jackson, Unchained Melody at the Grand Ole Opry, bust out the tissues. It's perfection.
Okay.
She then goes on to say, Gio jamming Emma. I'm sorry, I forgot that we actually did have a Port Charles pipeline, I guess. I had it snoozed until tomorrow because we were...
Ah, that's funny.
I only remembered because of this Rocco Danny thing, because I remembered that there was something with a headline. Gio jamming with Emma, Trina and Kai rocking in the background. Sorry, I just need to get this out there. Ciao for now. See you at the pier. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay,
yeah, I'm glad.
To Rocket.
Right, I'm glad that she remembered Danny drinking, because
the thing is,
I had completely forgot. And then he mentioned it this week.
And Dante kept yelling at everyone about how, Rocco was there because of Danny, and where was Jason? Well, where were you, Dante? Where were you? Because Rocco, you weren't with Rocco. Actually, the reason why they even went is because you canceled your plans.
That's what I'm thinking, is he just has guilt that he canceled the plans to go to the game. Because I thought the same thing. If you told me that you were taking our kids to a pirate game and then you canceled on them last minute and they went to some party and were drinking,
that's not my fault.
Right.
That's my fault, not yours.
Right. Exactly. It's not your fault that they went drinking, but you're the person who canceled plans. I didn't double check on where my kid was because I was already under the impression that they were with you and you're a responsible adult taking them to the game. So I didn't expect to see them until 11 o'clock, midnight, whatever. So yeah, I'm not checking on that. Why would Jason reach out to him and be like, hey, are you still at that game with the guy that you view as your stepdad who made plans at least a few days ago with you guys because he bought tickets, blah, blah, blah?
Right.
Like, that would have created a problem then too. Dante would have been like, why are you trying to make it like I can't hang out with him, blah, blah, blah. No?
Yeah. And then he's talking about how he gives Danny so much leeway. All the stuff that Danny did so far, Cookie? My door just flew open. Aha, I see you. Okay. But I believe when they found him drinking in the park, I don't think Jason was back.
I don't think so either. And if he was, the reason that he was drinking was because he missed Jason. That was during all that crap of Sam wouldn't let Jason be involved.
So and Jason was back then.
He was lashing out. Well, he wouldn't let him see Jason. I can't remember where Jason was. If he was drinking because Jason wasn't around, or if he was drinking because Sam wouldn't let him be around. But either way, he was drinking because he was not getting to see his dad, no matter whose fault it was that he wasn't getting to see him. So you can't blame Jason for that. Jason wasn't drinking with him. Jason didn't make plans and then cancel, and that made him upset. Like, I don't know.
And also, no one is perfect. And no parent is perfect, and you can be an amazing parent, and your kids are still going to make their own choices.
Right, and it's not absurd to think that high school students would crash a college party, especially at the beach. And to understand that a kid may have had no intentions of drinking and then ended up starting to drink, trying to drink, or whatever. It's not like this is an established storyline that now Rocco's out getting drunk every weekend because Danny is encouraging it or whatever. It was one party they went to. So, I mean, I totally get Dante being obviously distraught. His son was in the hospital. He had to have his stomach pumped. They're telling him he could have gone into a coma or died. Like, it is extreme. Conversations need to be had with both boys as far as expectations and earning trust back and blah, blah, blah. I actually, again, I hate to admit it, but I liked the way that Lulu handled it.
100%. That is absolutely, chores were always my favorite.
Right. And she like reiterated, listen, I have a meeting to go to. You guys are on thin ice already. Can I leave you here? Like almost like not daring them, but daring them to mess up again. Like, you're seriously, you guys won't be that stupid. And they're like, no, absolutely. We're going to clean the whole house, blah, blah, blah. And they responded, the way that kids do of, oh man, you have a back porch too? Like, this sucks. We have all this stuff to clean. But it showed that she had the conversation with them, because she did. She talked to both of them and was like, I don't want to see this behavior again, blah, blah, blah. You guys need to look out for each other. You are brothers and whatever. And then she gave them the opportunity to prove that she had a reason to trust them that they could continue. Because for a minute, Dante was talking about not letting them hang out anymore. And that's absurd.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And that's what he was talking about with Sonny.
Yes. And yeah, Sonny was great
like,
too.
no.
Because Sonny is like, do you not remember being a kid? I know Olivia told me you did crap. So why are you acting like you didn't? And I think Sonny's really the one that made him kind of realize he was being overly harsh. So by the end of the week, he had apologized to Lois. It seemed like he had intentions to apologize to Gio even, although he still seemed to think that he got special treatment, whatever.
And Lois was real close to saying, and where were you?
Oh, I feel like
that whole thing was dumb.
Exactly. If you've held that secret for 21 plus years, you are not going to blurt it out over something as dumb as an argument like that.
Right.
It was just so ridiculous. But yeah, I'm glad that at least by the end of the week, it seemed like Dante was getting it. But it did annoy me that at first, like the entire week, everyone that talked about it, it was like, oh man, Danny, he's a troublemaker. He just went to a party and played volleyball. Somebody yell at Rocco, don't be drinking. And don't be drinking to that excessive.
Well, if you don't drink, you don't know.
True.
I mean, really one of the first lessons is if you don't know what you're drinking, don't drink it.
Right.
I did like that Danny, I like that he's beating himself up and he's like, I left my brother,
right.
And I like that they're having the guys be the ones to have this conversation because all the time, girls, like you said, we watch out for each other and everything, but I don't feel like guys are kind of took out for each other the same way that we are. And I mean, they can be just as, who was it? Somebody said something about good thing Danny noticed that he was missing and went looking for him because other kids could have just thought it was funny and like took a picture of him and put it on social media.
Right. Exactly.
And thought that it was funny that this kid passed out,
And it was sweet seeing Sasha talk to him too and saying that she hoped he was around whenever her baby was older in case she didn't remember all this stuff. So
I liked Carly. I liked that when Danny called Gio, Carly was like, I'll be right there. And I like that Danny wasn't scared whenever he heard that.
Exactly. It was a nice balance of like, you're my dad's friend, so you're going to give it to me straight, but I don't have to be afraid that you're going to, come up with some ridiculous punishment that my parents should follow.
Well, and Jason sat down with him and said, every night, 9:00, in person or video chat, I'm checking in with you. But Jason was feeling guilty because the reason he wasn't there was because he was doing work for Sonny.
But again, I feel like he wouldn't have been there. He may have ended up at the hospital, but he wouldn't have been inserting himself in the situation at all. Because we didn't see Dante call Jason and say, hey, you know what, change of plans, I'm actually not taking the kids to the game tonight. So Jason had no reason to think that he couldn't work. His kid, who's not even like a kid, was assigned to a responsible adult for the evening.
Exactly. Yep. I know. I agree.
It was frustrating me all week. I'm like, stop yelling at him.
I will say, though, I do appreciate the fact that they're all blaming the dads.
That's true.
From a mom standpoint, I just had this conversation, was it yesterday or earlier today? I think it was yesterday, that with my daughter. And I was like, I know that you're going to be upset with me because I'm the one talking to you about this thing, but it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with a situation with somebody else.
Yeah.
But because I have to be
the bad guy.
I'm not involved in anywhere. And
right. It's like, don't kill the messenger, but as the mom, you're usually the messenger and you usually are the one that gets the bad reaction.
Right. And it seems like I'm the one being not fair and it was not fun.
No.
But exactly. Like it's always mom has to be the bad guy. Dads get to be the fun.
Yep.
But no, I did like Lulu when she was, and I did like that she stopped Dante in the hospital. She stopped him from.
Right.
And like I said earlier, she brought up the fact that Gio's parents weren't around.
Right. Oh, you mentioned Kai. So Kai had his surgery, and it's almost like they're making it like it worked already. How would we know that? I'm assuming that any type of surgery, don't you have to wait for like swelling to go down and stuff before you see the results?
Actually, I don't know because when Erica had her ACL surgery, they wanted her walking that day.
I mean, I can understand that we see that he's obviously not paralyzed, and that's great. And so getting up and walking around slowly, that's great too. But how do they know that everything's fused back together the way it needed to be for him to play football again?
Right. It needs to heal still, and it needs to make sure that it's healing correctly and that it's taking, right?
I mean, that's what I would think.
That's what I was thinking that as well.
And it was just like assumed, like the only choices were paralyzed or it works. There was no just not successful.
Well, he said something like the hard part's over or whatever. So you know that it's going to go bad.
Right. The hard part's over. I just needed to not be paralyzed at the end of the surgery. And look, I can move my toes. So I'll be on the football field next week. What?
Yep. Oh, when did Lulu tell Carly about Brook Lynn's baby?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay. I must have missed that, and I don't remember us discussing it because Carly had the discussion with Lulu this week about you cannot tell. Like, she yelled at her about this is not your place.
She had told her right after she found out, she had gone to like her office at the Metro Court and talked to her about it originally because Carly was like,
oh, that's right, because she talked about the Bobby thing. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, they had talked about it before, but I'm glad that Carly, stuck to her guns and was like, this is not your secret to tell. Don't even think about going there. No.
Yep. Which actually, this is not even the first time that Carly and Lulu have had this discussion.
Right. But every time that they try to discuss something, Lulu has to say, I wouldn't have issues with Brook Lynn if it wasn't for the fact that you tried to set us up.
No, even with before, it's part of our 411 that's going to either be coming up or is this week or is next week. I don't know. We have like 5 already done.
Okay.
That have not been recorded yet, but I did the research on. So it's coming. But so this is a pattern for Lulu.
Yeah.
But I think it was Carly actually. If I remember remembering correctly, Carly was also who she talked to about the paternity that she was aware of in another storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that was kind of it for all of that. Oh, Lulu's doing our job.
How?
She's researching. Well, first she gave the whole backstory. She's like researching L&B Records. She gave the whole backstory of, she got Laura's whole backstory of like when she was adopted. And then she was looking into something else. And I'm like, Lulu,
she's trying to figure out if Lois had a reason to be in California for when Gio would have been born. But what Ned said this week didn't actually make sense because as someone who was pregnant in high school, if I was hiding my pregnancy, I would not have, and my baby was born in April, like we decided Gio would have been, even though they didn't celebrate his birthday. I would not just be missing the last 6 months of school because that would be approximately January to the end of school. And if your baby is due in April, you're showing in December.
Yeah.
Not huge, but being the way, especially since we saw the way that like Brook Lynn dressed as a teenager, she wasn't wearing baggy clothes and whatever. You absolutely would have seen a baby bump in December.
And saying she missed the last 6 months of her senior year is kind of a weird way to phrase it because it should have been the second half of her senior year because the last 6 months is basically what school's only 9 months. So she was only there for the first quarter.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like, so Matt was born the end of March, a month before Gio would have been born, approximately 3 weeks or whatever. I went to the Christmas dance at my high school that December. You could 100%. I was pregnant. I went to the homecoming dance. You had no idea I was pregnant. But I went to the Christmas dance just a few short months later, and you could absolutely tell that I was pregnant. So she wouldn't have been quite as big as I would have been because, again, that 3-week difference. But you would have, high school kids notice that stuff. Somebody would have been like, oh, you're pregnant. And then you happen to miss the next 6 months. Like the whole world would have had conversations. But
also, Ned was not day to day at that time. Do you think maybe that's just when they told him?
Oh, I guess that's.
I mean, I agree. Like that timeline doesn't make sense with you knowing.
Right. He could have said she missed 6 months of her school year, which still I feel like would have been a little bit longer than what she needed to, but maybe okay. But the last 6 months just would not have made sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I did like that he told Lulu that she needs so he's doing a split ticket. He's going to vote for Laura, but against Sonny.
Yes.
And Lulu, he was like, but can you tell my mom? She's like, I guess.
Yeah. But that was interesting because that was under the assumption that Tracy was still all in love with Lulu. And then we saw Tracy approach Lulu when Ned walked away. And it was like, oh, this conversation is going to be good, where she tells her to back off Brook Lynn.
Well, she had some choice words for Lois earlier in the week also.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that was this week. Yes.
Yeah. She asked her about the baby, and she wanted to make sure that it was Brook Lynn's idea to give the baby up for adoption and not Lois's.
But I like what Lois said, because the way that Tracy was presenting it, it was like, oh, she could have just kept the baby because we'd have the nannies raise it and the rest of the staff take care of it. And Lois was like, no, it was Brook Lynn's choice, because that's not what Brook Lynn wanted. She didn't want to be a mother, and she didn't want to have the household raising her baby. She wanted the baby to go to a family that was going to actually be the parents and be involved that way.
Right. And then Brook Lynn and Chase went to see Alexis to talk about getting the adoption process started. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of good PSAs this week. Because we also learned the adoption process.
Yep.
And how it's always, what did she say? Oh, the adoptive parents always have legal
custody.
They're the legal parent.
Yes.
Basically, that they couldn't go get the baby.
I'm Andrea, founder of a boutique handbag brand, Andy, and this is why I switched to Shopify. I tried 3 other platforms prior to Shopify, and I remember my breaking point was when I would try to make one little change and my entire site would go down. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running. I was able to migrate my products and all of my customer information over.
Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/listen. Go to shopify.com/listen to take your business to the next level today.
Right.
Or couldn't come get the baby. Once the adoption's done, I feel like that also should have been in there, is once the adoption's finalized, because you can think you're adopting a baby up until the minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour after it's born, and it could not happen.
Right.
What else? I loved Laura talking to Rocco.
Yes.
I did think that I like how they handled all of it, that they gave us a lot of really good information on, I know we're going backwards, but
that's okay.
I feel like it was handled well.
Yes.
You know, he didn't get out of it. He didn't get away with it.
Mm-hmm. Right. No one was sweeping it. As much as they were blaming Danny more than they should have, no one absolved Rocco of the blame completely. It wasn't like they were in there, oh, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. They were like, dude, make better choices. Like, your brother shouldn't have left you alone, but what were you doing?
When Dante told Jason that if Rocco had died, he could have charged Danny with manslaughter.
Right.
He's going out on a limb.
Well, just like he had told Gio something similar, and it was like, how he didn't take him to that party. He had no knowledge of him being there. You can't hold me responsible because some person I've never met before gets drunk at a party and dies. Like, what?
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, we forgot to mention that Portia talks to Willow as a friend, not the chief of staff, about still being with him.
That was horrible. And now that we know that Drew knows it was Portia, whenever he reveals that to Willow, she's going to be even more, don't ever speak to me again. Like, how dare you try to use your position?
Well, and Drew wants Portia to make sure that Curtis votes against the promenade, like the vote C, whatever, Proposition C or whatever it is that they're calling it.
Right. He wants there to be an article in the paper that is endorsing Ezra. And not only Ezra as mayor, but for the, I can't remember what they called it either, but whatever, the proposal for it to go up.
Still, I don't know how many times Portia has to tell Drew, I do not control what my husband.
Exactly. And if I try to, he's going to question it because I've never done this before.
Right.
Willow thanked Curtis for the original article that didn't blame Drew. And he was like, yeah, I can present that same information about the fact that he claims he was drugged, but no, I can't take a side because that's the whole point. Like you just said, I'm supposed to present the information with no bias.
Right. Oh, and Christina went to Lucky and told him about being
the
papers
committed, yes.
And he doesn't disagree with Alexis having that as a backup. And he's like, yeah, you've had all these things and we're a couple months past him, but she's probably still looking out for what happens if.
Right, exactly. And
also, she is guilty.
Right.
And then we had another PSA because Christina said that she is talking to a therapist and she tells everyone about it because she wants to destigmatize. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. Yes. So I really liked that. I was really happy. So we had 3 PSAs this week. But they weren't, I don't feel like they were really presented as PSAs. You know, it was the doctor gave the facts about the alcohol poisoning. Christina just happened to mention that we needed to destigmatize, therapy and meds and stuff like that. And then Lucky shared about how difficult it was for them to make the decision to have Laura,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then what was the other? Oh, the adoption.
Mm-hmm. Lots of information. She is just such an educational show.
It is. We learn so much about life through GH.
How to make a shell corporation if you want to embezzle some money.
How about we don't use a name that is translated for trickery and deceit?
Right? I
looked it up. Dolos means trickery and deceit in Greek.
And I loved that Alexis called him out on that whenever he was like, here's the paperwork for my new company. And she was like, really? Like, that's the name that you picked?
I do think that was actually a pretty smart move on their part, or on Rick's part, to create an offshore company that it looks like the Cassadine estate is investing in.
Yeah, but now I'm interested to see what Cody knows about all of it, though, because he knew what that name meant when he saw the card associated with it. And the fact that it had a ridiculous limit, the bartender made a note of it. And then he watched who got the card back.
Okay, I can tell you, as a former bartender, I don't think I ever once disclosed to any patron what somebody else's credit limit was.
No?
I do remember the first time I got the American Express Black card.
Oh, okay.
It's heavier, but my American Express is metal, so it's a little bit heavier too.
Right.
I don't feel like the heaviness of a card anymore is indicative of wealth.
Right.
I do not have the Black American Express card. I am not there yet. They have not asked me. One day they will. But yeah, I think that it was, I don't know, that was really weird for the bartender to just say. He could have been like, oh yeah, we don't see cards like that often. And then also, how did he accidentally give that wrong card back?
Because they both opened up tabs within 5 minutes of each other. But I would assume that you have some type of system. I've never been a bartender, but I would assume there's a system that keeps that from happening. Because how many dishonest people would be like, sure, I'll take the $3 tab and their credit card home with me instead of my $800 tab and my credit card that's now at max.
Yep. Rick and Ava also went to go see Christina.
Well, they went to see Alexis.
Yes.
They went to see Alexis.
And saw Christina.
Yes, and Christina showed up and questioned why they were there. And they, spoke in circles about the fact that they were there to talk about all the accident stuff and Molly and whatever. But they didn't actually say, oh, we're extorting money from your mother. But then she took that opportunity to say, hey, I've been thinking about things a little bit differently. I saw how upset Molly was, and I'm glad that you're okay, and I'd like to put everything in the past. So
yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah.
It didn't mean anything to them, but it was nice.
We'll see if it means anything, because the one thing that Rick does consistently say is how much he loves Molly, and I really do think if he's going to change his mind about anything, it's going to be because of Molly.
I hope. I feel like they're setting us up, though. Rick will start being a nice guy because he doesn't want Christina hurt because of Molly. And that'll be the moment that we find out that Molly was responsible for the cut brake lines, and it'll destroy everything again.
I think the only thing that was left was that Joss and Emma talked, and we found out that Emma was expelled from Berkeley, right? Berkeley?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because she discovered that Dalton tests on higher mammals like cats and dogs. And she and her friends tried to break into the facility and they got caught. And the whole reason that they got expelled, but they didn't get charges pressed against them. Because, wait, then how did Mac have a file on Emma? Because Emma said that they kind of got away with it-ish, as long as they signed the NDA.
Right. It was like a file, but the information was sealed. So I don't understand how there's still a file then.
Yeah, because he said that the campus did not press charges.
Right.
They just expelled her, made her sign an NDA.
Yeah.
But we knew about the fact that she got, well, maybe it was just because they planned that fundraiser night and I was like the decoy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was in her file that he could actually see.
Maybe it was the cover up because the issue was that it was public rowdiness or something like that to do with the fundraiser. I don't remember. But anyway, Joss and Emma talk about the fact that they've grown up so much since they both knew each other when they were kids. And then, oh, excuse me.
Emma's definitely grown up a lot since then, since they aged her.
It's like they're completely different people.
Man, you grew up extra fast. It's like you gained a whole 5 years on me.
And then Vaughn went and told Brennan that he doesn't think that Joss has what it takes because she's getting like a guilty conscience and stuff like that about feeling bad about doing this to Emma. And Brennan kind of told him to back off. And he's like, Jax is the one assigned to this case. You're her handler or whatever.
Right. And she came and said, I can feel bad about screwing people over, even though I'm still going to do that for the job. Like, I'm allowed to have compassion as long as it doesn't keep me from doing what I'm supposed to do. And they said that he was then going to take on the role, like a janitorial role at school so that he could watch, or at the hospital? Yeah, at the hospital. I think it's the hospital to see what's in that lab, because she mentioned seeing him going into that lab. So
I think, I did have a thought. So Chase and Brooklyn were talking about, Brooklyn told Chase that like she told Tracy, and then Cody came and told them about Rocco. They were on a date night. That's when Cody went to the bar. And he's like, yeah, I recognize date night. I'm just going to go up there. And when Cody tells them about Rocco, Chase is like, you did a good job. Most people would have choked. Are we going to have Cody become a cop?
No.
That's kind of the segue into, you know what? Remember, Lucky, you want to look into this? You become a cop, and so let's do it.
No.
Cody, good job being an adult.
Right, no.
Helping a teenager that was obviously in trouble.
Yeah. No, he cannot be a cop, no. Whatever that big secret is.
Out of teenager.
Right, whatever.
Gio.
Yeah, whatever that big secret is that Dante has on him that we'll never find out. That's what will keep him from being a cop.
That's true. Unless we've just forgotten about that.
No.
But yeah, I think that was it.
I think so too.
Reality check.
So how was your week?
I think I'm just like stuck in this cycle of like stuff from the kids, stuff from Madeline pretty much.
Dance, cheer, and repeat.
Right, exactly. Especially because it is the end of the year, so everything, is like wrapping up to get all this stuff finalized. And then at the same time, signups for everything next year is now. It's just like it was another week of different meetings and trying to make it to this meeting on time, even though you're just leaving this meeting. And she had practice after school. And then she has her string concert coming up. So there's practice after school for that. So those run like around the same time. So she has to get out of one and go to the other. And so, yeah, it was a week of checking and rechecking and triple checking my calendar all week to make sure I didn't not pick her up or assume she was going to be home and she wasn't or whatever.
Yep.
And in the middle of that, I had my mom that needed to go out shopping, and we're trying to get her care coordinated between my brother and my sister and I, because she has lots of doctor's appointments and things that she needs to be at since getting out of the hospital a few weeks ago, and can't seem to get her pills straight because she mixes them up and they're all like set on different days to get filled. And it's just, however she has it set is like the most complicated way to get anything done. And so we're trying to get it down to the basics and then divide the responsibility by the three of us. And so
Is she somewhat decent with technology, or at least coachable with basic technology?
no, she used to be able to look up stuff on her computer and like retain that. She's having memory issues, which she actually has a doctor appointment next week with the like cognitive doctors to see where she is, because she's just like anything that's recently happened, she forgets really quickly and like cannot pull it back up. But if you ask her something from, a little while ago, she's like, give me a second. She sits and thinks on it and is able to bring it up. But I don't know exactly, if that's just part of aging. Like I said, she's going to be 87, 86, 86 this year. So, it could just be a part of getting older, but who knows? Nothing else runs in our family that I know of. Not that she couldn't be the first that has to do with memory stuff, but it's just very frustrating because you have one conversation and then you talked to her, an hour later, and she starts asking you the same questions. And you're like, what are you talking about? We just went over all of that. And so lots of charts and calendars and highlighted things and all that stuff to get us all on the same page so that everything
is it color coordinated?
Some of it is, yes.
Yay!
So
if you need help with it, let me know.
Oh,
although
thanks.
I know Val's on top of it. So
she is. So yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a nice thing. Like, how many people out there don't have family around? And so we are very lucky to have siblings to share the responsibility with. I feel like my mom is lucky to have 3 adult kids that want to help.
I was going to say, and willing. I
Right.
can tell you, if you want someone to vouch for it, I can tell your mom horror stories without giving names of situations that I've had for work that this is not the case.
Right.
For a lot of people.
Yes. So it's hectic, but I'm grateful for the fact that it's not as hectic as it could be. So, but yeah, nothing, I don't know. I feel like until summer actually starts, it's just going to be this rinse and repeat of this same stuff between Madeline and my mom. So,
yeah.
But how about you?
Well, so part of why I asked how she is with technology is because I had the Disability and Mental Health Summit this week. And one of the sessions that I attended was about smart home technology. And there's a program that would call her to remind her of her medication. And then so like you guys would come up with like a protocol of these are the steps. And it's 24/7 and it kind of takes the pressure off of you. So it'd be more of, they call her to make sure that she's taking her meds. If she hasn't, okay, go ahead and take them. If she refuses to, okay, well, what's the next step? What is the protocol that we have all determined? So it could just remove some of those. And it's all those little things, it's the little things that really do add up, and it basically equates to you living. I do this with my daughter. I'm basically living 2 lives, like I have to live my own life, but I also, the small stuff,
right.
You have to take care of, but you could it's something that like I already have like a pin in it for when we're looking at getting her own place, like in the future, this is something that we would put in place because that way it would just remove some of the little stuff that kind of seems like mom's nagging too,
Right.
Because you're emotional about it. Like you're emotionally invested. And obviously the people are going to care about your mom taking the medication, but it's not going to be.
Yeah. That's nice.
The emotional. Yeah. So I'll get you that information. It's paid for completely differently in a couple different ways, depending on diagnosis. But I know that it was created for the elderly to stay in their home as long as possible. Because
that's nice.
What if it is just the medication? What if that's the main thing that's keeping you from thinking about the next step?
Right.
But then they looked at how they could shift it for helping people with intellectual disabilities and autism to live more independently. And one of the things that they even have would be like a video system where, let's say, someone is cooking and they don't know how to cook chicken or something. Like someone would watch them and talk them through it and be like, well, the chicken's not done yet. You have to make sure that it looks this color and,
Oh, wow.
Stuff like that. Right. So and they gave this one example of this guy who he was just lonely, but he would call everyone in his phone until someone picked up. And it got to the point where no one wanted to talk to him about anime anymore. No one wanted to talk, and so like he was getting blocked and he was getting depressed. And then he started talking about self-harming. And all it took was him just being able to even call and talk to someone for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, nice.
And it just completely changed his quality of life. And so for us, it is waiver funded, and there's different waivers. Unfortunately, the one that we have right now is not the one that covers it, but one that we're on a wait list with 6,000 other people is the one that would.
Okay.
So, I mean, she's not ready to move out tomorrow, so it's not like this is something that is, but I mean, it's certainly something for us to be able to keep in mind with future planning for her is, okay, if we somehow get one of these waivers, this is what could help with that. So, because she talks about it, she's like, I want to get my own apartment. And I'm like, okay, but we're still having the conversation where she doesn't want to be home more than 2 hours by herself.
Right.
So, we're definitely not there yet. And that kind of came into play today. We talked about last week about the horrible storms that we had, and my daughter's school did not get their power back until Wednesday night. She did not go back to school until Thursday.
That's insane.
So she had a week. I still had to work. I wasn't prepared for, come summer, I know what the last day is, and I know when I need to start planning things accordingly for certain different things.
Yes.
We're not there yet. So I thankfully was able to shift stuff around. So Wednesday we just went to the zoo, and my son came with us, and it was just the three of us. And so she was like, can you come? Because you've been at college and we should spend time together.
Aww.
And he had a little bit of a lesson on time management this week because I was still finishing something up. And he's like, well, I have to do this and this. And I was like, and how long is that going to take you? And he's like, well, I don't know. I said, okay, well, how about you get started on it?
Right.
I still have to take a shower. I still have to do this. And sure enough, it took like almost no time. To be fair, one of them was like a questionnaire. He got a questionnaire for federal jury duty.
Oh, geez.
So I don't know how long that was going to be. So and fair enough. He didn't know what that process was going to be.
Yeah.
But it didn't take that long. It took a little less time than it took for me to get ready. And sure enough, I get phone calls. And by the time we were ready to go, he was done. So he was able to come with us. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was nice. But yeah, it was a good week, I guess, considering. It's going to be a better week on Thursday when we keep talking about Lucky and Liz.
It's always a good day on Thursday when we get to talk about Lucky and Liz.
Yes.
All right. So I guess have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.